Moment. And happening this morning, lawmakers on Capitol Hill are getting briefed on the Chinese spy flight that was shot down over the weekend. We're also learning the balloon was part of a larger surveillance operation. Watch this.
We are aware that there have been 4 previous balloons that have gone over U.S. territory. This is what we assess as part of a larger Chinese surveillance balloon program. This just demonstrates why the PRC continues to remain our pacing challenge. And I think that they have a lot of explaining to do when it comes to conducting these types of programs and violating nations' airspace and sovereignty.
Very interesting, isn't it? Ben Domenech joins me now. So apparently this is not a one-off. This is something China does. It doesn't seem very high-tech to me, but why are we just finding out about it now?
Well, I certainly think that we deserve to know more about this earlier on, but I also think that the fact that we were surprised is itself an indictment of the lack of seriousness that we've had when it comes to the invasion that China has really undertaken over the past several years when it comes to American experience. I think, a lot of people who watch this network, who watch Fox, are well aware of the dangers represented by something like TikTok on the phones of, your teenagers and some of your friends and the like. But I think that they're less aware of the fact that China is conducting all manner of surveillance around the world in order to try to achieve its ends and to achieve and obtain more information in order to use against us and against the West generally. China is taking this all very seriously, but I think that the indictment of our own leadership class is that they don't really seem to. They always seem to be a little slow on the uptake when it comes to what China is doing. And I think it's incumbent upon our leaders, especially in the Congress, to ask the question, why?
Exactly. Next one for you, Ben. Congressman Jim Jordan going after one Twitter official over the platform's suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop story. Listen to this. I'll get your comment.
So the FBI didn't tell you that it was fake, didn't tell you that it was hacked. And Mr. Roth, did the story violate your policies?
In my judgment at the time, no, it did not.
So I think what a lot of people are wondering is if it didn't violate your policies and they didn't tell you it was fake, didn't tell you it was hacked, why'd you take it down?
The company made a decision that found that it did violate the policy. It wasn't my personal judgment at the time that it did, but the decision was communicated to me by my direct supervisor, and ultimately I didn't disagree with it enough to object.
I think you guys wanted it to be taken down. I think you guys got played by the FBI.
Very interesting, isn't it, Ben? They also claimed that they forgot key details of the censorship story, which seems pretty convenient to me, right?
Well, there are a couple things going on here, but one is that there's a bit of a shell game being played by these former Twitter executives when it comes to the influence that the intelligence community and the FBI had on that decision. It was clear that they were seeding the ground well before the laptop story broke for exactly this type of circumstance, including the idea that hacked materials would be pushed out by foreign agents via all manner of different media and the like, but particularly on social media, that it wouldn't be accurate, that it would be disinformation. And this whole pressure campaign was something that extended well before the Hunter Biden story actually broke in the New York Post. And so the Twitter executives in question had all of that information beforehand at the back of their minds as they were analyzing this circumstance. Look, what we see in this story is something very disturbing. It's the government, particularly the intelligence community, doing things that they're not allowed to do legally via corporations who are frankly threatened by and scared of the consequences if they don't obey. And that's something that has always been wrong. It's always been unethical. It's always been anathema to free speech. And to see Democrat congressmen on the other side basically saying that the Congress should be happy with the fact that these former Twitter executives are just apologizing now really is absurd. We have to make sure that this type of thing never happens again, and that the intel community really has its wings clipped when it comes to their approach to using these entities to do things that they're not allowed to do.
Exactly. All right, Ben, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. We really appreciate it.